What's up, everybody? It's your boy. It's me. Great to be here. Welcome to Meta Discussion. This is my first go around, and I'm about to give you guys a really good discussion on everything going around in the meta of everything on a historical topic that I find interesting. I appreciate you guys tuning in to me. I'm down here in beautiful sunny South Florida. Appreciate you guys tuning in, like I said, and let me know in the comment description below. Let me know the good, the bad, the ugly. What did you like? What didn't you like? So please let me know, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the video and the discussion. So welcome to Meta Discussions, and keep it locked for next time.
What's up, guys? Just gonna start sharing my screen here, and we're gonna start getting into some of these meta discussions. And for the first one that I want to get into is really just the Napoleonic influence, the Napoleonic connection, let's call it. So right now, this is a map of the United States brought to us by Britannica. You guys should be able to see these links as I go along for sourcing. And this is how much Napoleon and his empire enlarged the United States. And it's significant. And all the people out there in North Dakota, South Dakota, and all my Montanans out there that are listening already know what it's about, because that's why they joined the Union along with Oklahoma and all these other states, because the Napoleonic Empire faced many difficulties in maintaining their overseas possessions. And we're about to take a quick look at why. So there was a very brutal war, largest war in American history at the time, in the Caribbean, in what was at the time known as one of the wealthiest colonies in the world. And we can take a look at that on the Googles. If we look, once the richest colony in the world, Saint-Domingue was a leader in the production of sugar, coffee, etc. So it was the richest colony. They lost it in this war and against these African Maroons. So as a result of that, we get to a point where the United States gets to benefit from the French inability to maintain hegemony against the British Empire. From there, we go on to, let's see what's next on my, why did so much of Napoleon? So this is brought to us by the History Channel. And as you can see on this article, if you scroll through it, there's many other family members. But I wanted to focus in on Caroline Bonaparte, Napoleon's sister, because she actually married into American de facto royalty, marrying George Washington's great grandniece. And these types of themes are going to be common. So we're going to see the Napoleonic connection on the United States, and it starts with the Louisiana Purchase, and it goes on from there. So from that point, we get many others. And here we can just see the influence. This is one of the attorney generals of the United States, and he was a part of the Napoleonic family as well. And he was actually the great nephew of the French Emperor Napoleon. So we're just going to go through and see how these figures from this family shaped the United States in many various ways, in the way that we know it. He started the Bureau of Investigation, which was the precursor to the FBI, which you can see here. And J. Edgar Hoover ended up taking it and making it what we know it to be today. And he was also the Secretary of the Navy, and he was part of the cabinet, and he had a lot of influence. And I'm just going to go on to some other things here that I want to bring up, if I can move this, move it to the bottom. And this is just another map for you guys, just trying to paint a picture. And he was involved in these Egyptian expeditions as well during this period of war in Saint-Domingue. And then we also have this figure, Napoleon III, and he was the nephew of Napoleon. And he was the longest serving emperor of France. And we're going to see how his influence shaped the United States. So there's a lot of characters involved in this story. And already the Napoleonic family has managed to wield power, managed their Caribbean possessions extremely poorly, and they managed to run amok of their plantation system, and they were brutal to their in their disgusting and inhumane slave practice. And as a result, 13 years of warfare, largest war in American history. They fumble a bag, so to speak, and now they rely on the United States to fill this American void. The United States, this budding country, to the Thomas Jefferson administration. And then you get his nephew that's a character later, because a piece of the puzzle that I think people miss is that the Napoleonic family embedded itself within the European aristocracy, as many of these families do. So they marry in, they get their own landed possessions, and that'll be a theme that we look at. So this is Napoleon III, just some more images for you guys. And I wanted to bring up one of his ventures that he took on, which was the creation of this water and sewage and basically utility company called Vivendi. And I find Vivendi interesting because it ends up shaping the United States all the more. I mean, beyond the FBI and beyond the doubling of the size of the United States and beyond all that, you have this Vivendi holding company, essentially, that's diversified in all these different things. And you can see that they diversify its operation and they do different things, and then they create Vivendi. And Vivendi is an entertainment company that owns 10% of Universal Music Group. And Universal Music Group is also owned at the tune of 30% of voting power and 20% by the Boyer, probably butchering that family name in France. And they also own these pivotal West African coastal possessions. As you can see, Lagos, they operate a port there, and Dakar, and many pivotal ports on the West African coast there. And they still operate plantations with rubber and palm oil production in Africa and in Asia, and they have a very diverse portfolio in that separate holding company. So we have Vivendi and we have Boyer. Vivendi is the Napoleonic element, but I felt it would be a disservice if I did not bring up Boyer. And again, I know I'm butchering that name, because they do own a significant portion as well. And that's a separate French family. And these are some of the artists in the Universal Music Group. And this is the effect that they have on American culture today, as they create this company, own this element that produces this music, so we can listen to BTS or Taylor Swift or Kanye or Jay-Z or Rihanna or Lana Del Rey or anybody else that we want to listen to. And I think that that's something that we need to consider more. J Balvin and Lil Wayne. I mean, these Billie Eilish. This is a major effect on American culture. They've already had foundational influences into the creation of the FBI. foundational influences in the discovery of the Louisiana Purchase and enlarging the United States by nearly double at that time. And they entrenched themselves in different elements of our culture. And that's why I found it interesting to examine the Napoleonic family and their influence today, because as you can see, as we dive deeper, you can see he creates this water company, the nephew of Napoleon. His other family members also go to the United States, marrying into George Washington's family, and the other great nephew ends up doing work as the FBI director here, Charles Bonaparte. It was called the Bureau of Investigation, which later grew and expanded, as you guys can see here. So from there, from Vivendi, as you can see, Universal Music Group here, and we can go through. Tencent owns 20%. Boye, as I mentioned, 28%, so the largest shareholder that we can see here. And then you have Vivendi at a significant 10%. So we're just going to go on here. And as you can see, that family is still operating in West Africa with many different pivotal possessions, and they're very diversified in other things as well. So, again, the influence, I mean, you guys should really, Adele, who are your favorite artists? I want to hear in the comment section below. Let me know. What are your favorite artists? Does the Napoleonic family's venture have an influence on what you listen to today? Do you listen to Amy Winehouse? Do you listen to Jared Leto? Is that Jared Leto? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just let me know in the comment section. Do you listen to Avicii? Rest in peace, Avicii. And this is global, guys. I know their influence is just massive, the Napoleonic family. But let me just continue so I can finish this, and I'm probably ranting a little bit too much, but you guys can see just the family tree here. So this is going to become interesting. In my opinion, this is Napoleon's wife, Marie Louise. And then you could see that they all kind of intermarry in Portugal, Sicily. This is the nature of royalty. We're gonna take a deeper look here at this, because this is going to become interesting as we look closer. So we have this figure. This is the wife of King Leopold of Belgium. And King Leopold of Belgium, he was also involved in those African exploitation type of things. Well, business ventures, let's say, but in his case, much more exploitative, killing millions, at least 1 million at the most conservative estimates. And you can kind of look through his Wikipedia if you guys ever have any interest in doing this. Wikipedia is a great resource, by the way. I just want to plug Wikipedia. Really great resources if you guys are ever just trying to do regular research. I mean, a lot of it is cited. If you had a teacher that told you not to use it, they're wrong. So here we go. Finishing, because I have a little bit more stuff on here. As you can see, his wife that we just covered here, Marie Henriette of Austria, and King Leopold of Belgium, the people who exploited the Congo. And I just want to show you guys what what type of exploitation went on. And this is all historical. I don't think this should be any type of YouTube censorship thing. This is important that everybody see this type of brutality and genocide here. So they're actually holding limbs here. I mean, these are historical photos. And you can see that there has been a very horrific situation in children, women, very horrific situation here. So this is what we dealt with as far as their exploitation. And I guess how we got here was Napoleon's wife was related to the family, and King Leopold's daughter ends up marrying into the Napoleonic family again. So this is where we have King Leopold's daughter marrying Napoleon's great nephew. So again, we have a lot of these nephews and nieces in the picture here. So his great nephew, Victor, Prince Victor Napoleon. And we can see his demeanor here, very funny mustache. And he's the great nephew of Napoleon, so became Napoleon V. And again, they entrenched themselves in this aristocracy. This is the real history. I think history is way stranger than fiction. You guys, if you guys never had an interest in history, I challenge you to challenge yourself to have more of an interest in history, because it's who you are, and it's very interesting. And I think everybody should want to know who they are, and you'll sleep better at night knowing who you are. And I just kind of wanted to lament on some of these things, so you could see how they all kind of marry into each other. The King Leopold's children marry into the Napoleonic family. Like I said, it's a global phenomenon. But I did want to highlight these because it struck out at me during my research on the Napoleonic family. So I guess I call this channel Meta Discussions because there's so much that goes into the phenomenon of one family and the influence that could have on the United States. And it's just, you want to have perspective and be somebody who's this, 30,000-foot overview person in this very complex world. And I hope that I provided some clarity, and I provided something of value and interest to you guys. I found this research to be very interesting, especially in the ownership of various artists, music that I listen to. And that's a huge impact on the United States and our lives. And I hope you guys can kind of craft this puzzle piece in your head that I'm crafting. And I've gone from kind of this Louisiana Purchase period forward, and you can see how they kind of impregnate themselves into the American culture and the European aristocratic culture, of course, but just the broader culture at large. And they remain to be very wealthy, and they hold aristocratic titles, and some of them hold different types of titles where they have their own phrases for them. So let me know if what you guys didn't like, what you guys did like. I'll drop my Cash App. You guys want to hit me up? I just graduated from college, so let me know. I've always loved history. What do you want to see? What don't you want to see? What did you like? What didn't you like? So I'm going to end it here. Thought this was awesome. Thought this research was awesome. You can just kind of see how there's all these different moving parts. And I do want to also highlight that Haitian Revolution. I mean, that is just an awesome 13 years of brutal guerrilla warfare, largest war in American history, way larger than the American Revolution. American Revolution was about 7 years. That war was about 13. And it kind of continued with continuous raids and skirmishes and things along those lines. But I guess you could say all wars did at that time in a certain way, just lack of communication and anything. So, yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thanks, guys. Meta Discussions, new to this, let me know.